Litheo Terren 23 here for a episode of Litheo Global Chat. Now, on this episode, we have your host, Terren, your other host, Greens Crafty. Hello.
Hello. How you doing?
And yes, hi. And your other host, Cubone36.
Hey.
Now, so this is going to be our first official Litheo Global Chat. Yay!
Yeah.
All the fun stuff. Now, I hope you guys can bear with us. This is going to be our first time doing this this kind of thing where we're just like really chatting and discussing what's going to happen, in this Pokemon season. But as we go along and as you guys have like suggestions or stuff you want to hear us talk about in the global chat, or even if you want to participate, leave a comment in the comment section below and just let us know. We have our Twitter, which is also on the screen down there. Keep us informed, keep talking to us, and we're going to try and make this as interactive as possible. Now, yes, indeed. Now, in our schedule for today, we have finally full disclosure on Litheo Season 9. We had a long break between Litheo Season 8 and 9 in preparations for Sun and Moon, really, giving us chance, everyone to like actually get it and play it, but also for the meta to kind of like start to settle while we start formulating like something to do, because as you guys know, spoiler I guess if you haven't figured it out by now, but Sun and Moon is not your typical Pokemon game.
No?
In the sense that there are no gyms. So how can an online, like a Twitter-based Pokemon League do something similar to Sun and Moon? Well, we kind of figured it out, and we think that's probably the best way to go about doing this. And it still kind of gives the theme, still sticks with the theme of Alola, but still enables us to have our Pokemon League. Now, talking about Litheo Season 9, what it is and when are we going to start? So, Season 9, it's going to start in January. January 1st, 2017, we are going to start recruiting for people as soon as the new year starts, but we're probably not going to start until the second or third week. Correct?
Yes, that's give people time to
formulate their teams.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people are still like breeding their competitive teams and getting the Pokemon that they want. Some people are still finishing their Pokedex. I still need to do that. So we want people to know that we're starting, and we want to try and be one of the first like Pokemon leagues to actually get started for Alola. But we also want to give people their chance to actually prepare seriously to take this competition, seriously. Now the theme for this, the way that we said that we're going to adapt the Alolan style on the Litheo region, is by having what we call the Litheo Island Challenge.
Yes.
Now, yes. Now, what that means is that we're gonna be running something similar to the island challenges of Alola. There are 4 Litheo Islands, if you want to call it like that, and each island has a Kahuna. In our sense, the Kahunas are still going to be acting like the Elite Four, but just like in Pokemon Sun and Moon, you couldn't leave the island until you beat the Kahuna. So what that means is that you have a set challenge for the island, and our challenges are just going to be fighting trial captains, elemental trial captains, and in order before you can leave the island, you have to beat both trial captains and the Kahuna. And you can start at whatever island you want. That's one of the things in order to stop bottlenecking and to give a bit more flexibility to the people, is that we're going to allow anyone to start from whatever island they want. The only thing that they have to do is talk to one of the admins to get a pass to the island, and then they're allowed to go to that island. They can battle either one of the 2 trial captains for that island first, beat the other one, and then beat the Kahuna. Now, it goes in a little bit more detailed than this, because as we all know, in the past, trainers are allowed to bring I believe we said 8. Correct? It's in
Rudy?
there somewhere. He's trying not to die. But yeah, so they're allowed to sign up with 8 Pokemon trainers. But they have to go to each one of the islands with only 6 Pokemon and use those 6 Pokemon for that island challenge. Reason why we're doing this is that everyone is going to know what the trial captains are and what
Yep.
the theme of the Kahuna is going to be. Knowing that, they can prepare and bring the correct 6 Pokemon to that island. Now, as you switch to different islands, you can bring different Pokemon with you. That's perfectly fine. And the same rules that we had in previous Litheo seasons, that all you have to do is just keep the species. You don't have to keep the exact same Pokemon. So you have 2 Alolan Golems, like one a defensive set, one a offensive set. You can switch between the 2. It doesn't really matter. All we care is that you keep the species. You can switch around the items as well. That part doesn't really matter. So it still does allow you for a little bit of flexibility. And we're going to reveal like all the different combinations at the end of this, but I just wanted to continue to explain the rules. So yeah, so after you beat the 2 trial captains, you have to beat the Kahuna, then you can move on. So once you defeat all 4 islands, you have to then beat the island, or the, how are we calling this?
The champion.
The champion, I guess. So the Litheo Island champion, who is going to be the champion from our previous season, VFX89. Now, because it's a brand new season, new Pokemon, new everything, he's going to be allowed to have a new team. You'll know what the team is, so you don't have to worry too much about that. But in terms of win losses, the losses things, the trial captains, it's going to be very similar to previous seasons, where the trial captain are acting, like gym leaders, and you're allowed 3 losses, or a total of 10 losses. 3 losses to each individual gym trial captain, or 10 losses total for all of it. The Kahunas are going to be 2 losses, and the champion, it's 1 time. Like, either you win or you lose. One of the 2. And no duplicate items, no duplicate Pokemon. Same rules that we had before. Actually, if you go to our Twitter down there, in our profile, we have a link to all of our Litheo rules. The majority of those aren't going to change, and we're going to continue on with the idea of no legendaries, with a slight exception, which I'll get to in a second. But like after Bank comes out, you can bring your Pokemon from the past, and you can use any Pokemon you want that are not legendaries, and you all know what that means.
No mythical Pokemon either.
No mythical Pokemon either. And y'all know what that means. I don't want to see these people trying to justify Heatran. That's not how Litheo rolls, and if you've been here before, you should know that. That being said...
Just one question.
Yes.
You know how you said, as long as it's the same species, you can use it?
Yes.
Does that mean you can switch a Pokemon between its normal and its Alolan form?
Huh. I didn't think about that.
I didn't think about that either. That's actually...
I don't think so, because they're two completely different Pokemon.
Okay.
So I don't think that we should... If you're going to register a Marowak, you should only be able to use a regular Marowak. If you're going to register an Alolan Marowak, you should only be able to use an Alolan Marowak.
I would have to agree with that, because you can run a completely different set.
Because there's some moves that Alolan Marowak can't learn that regular Marowak can learn.
That is also very true.
So I would
mm-hmm.
I would keep them 2 separate Pokemon and let that be that.
And this is why we keep Joey around, the genius, coming up with things.
Genius.
But no, that is a good point. Alolan Pokemon and their normal versions do count, or will count, as separate Pokemon. So I guess the same idea, the same concept can be counted towards the Rotom forms. Even though they all share the same Pokedex number, they're all considered different Pokemon.
Indeed.
You can't just say, I want Rotom, and you can then switch out all the Rotoms you want. No. So the same rule that applies to Rotom is going to apply to Alolan forms, which makes sense.
Yes.
What other? Am I missing any rules?
Standard Smogon rules also just.
Yeah. There are going to be some trainers, some of the trainers that are going to be allowed to use either single style or double style, and you're allowed to ask for that up front, like even before you go to an island. So feel free to ask that, which and you can plan due diligently that way. So islands, each of the islands. So as you see on the screen, we have 4 particular Pokemon.
Yeah.
Now, they're not there just because they're pretty. They're there for a reason. And if you haven't put 2 and 2 together yet, well, you're about to find out.
Yep, that's the themes.
Yeah, so each of the islands are going to be based off a totem, Tapu. So this is this minor exception that I was talking about where we were saying no legendaries. And the reason why is just because each of the islands are so focused on each one of these Tapus that we're giving the Kahunas a Tapu. Now, what we were really trying to do was do each one of the particular terrains that each one of the Tapus can also invoke. But yes, each one of the Kahunas are going to have a Tapu. So the electric Tapu Koko,
It's gonna be Shadow.
is going to be Shadow. At ShadowChew26. _ ShadowChew26.
Shadow2_26.
That's what it was. ShadowChew_26. It's all going to be in the description below. Don't worry about it. And his trial captains are going to be Dark type and Steel type.
No.
That changed.
That's Erik.
I read it wrong. Never mind.
Shadow's gonna be Ice and Psychic.
Ice and Psychic. Yes. So Tapu Lele, which is Erik. Thank you for catching that. Tapu Lele, which is Erik, that is Ashton Akai, is going to have Tapu Lele, and his trial captains are going to be Dark and Steel. Now Tapu Bulu, which is Scrafty up here. You want to say yours?
Yeah. Mine are gonna be Fighting and Fairy, and I'm gonna be Tapu Bulu.
And then last but not least is going to be Tapu Fini, and that one's mine. And I'm going to have Fire and Ground as my trial captains.
Just a little quick note. Erik and Terren will be doubles.
Yes, it's true. We are going to be doubles.
Me and Shadow are going to be singles.
Now, that doesn't mean that the whole island is going to be doubles. It doesn't mean the whole islands are going to be singles. We're just telling you what we're going to be. And if you know me, and if you know that I always run doubles, you should also know what kind of theme I'm running.
You should always bring taunt.
Did you really have to say that? Really?
Yes.
Really?
I have to say.
Well, I am prepared for that, sir.
I have to prepare the people.
I am prepared for that. I've did some very extensive research on Misty Terrain, just so that you know. So I'm prepared for anything. Come at me. Come at me. Now, yeah, so that's essentially what Season 9 is going to be. We understand this is going to be a kind of big change compared to our previous seasons, but I think it's going to be a good one. Like, a lot of people actually embraced the Island Challenge and the ideas of the Island Challenge a lot better than I expected for Pokemon Sun and Moon.
Yeah, I didn't expect people to accept it very well.
I mean, I wasn't going to accept it very well, but I actually ended up liking it.
I loved it first time I heard it. First time I heard it.
Yeah, we had actually opposite reactions, so it was interesting. But I was really nervous because I was really nervous when I first found out about it. I was like, well, what's Litheo gonna do? It's like I can't mimic this. I'm not gonna make people run around like Pokemon Go trying to find a little Rattata. That's not how it's gonna work. No. But no, I think this is gonna be the best adaptation that we can probably do for the Twitter Pokemon League series. But we'll see. And you guys are gonna try it out with us. Be our test dummies. Now, yeah, so that being said, that's Litheo Season 9. Now, the actual like prize for this for season 9. I'm not gonna reveal yet because I want that to be a surprise for when I actually put out the poster for it all. So you see what that's gonna be. Keeping that in mind. So moving on with our G chat, we're going to be talking about VGC. Now, a lot of people I've heard are actually going to be doing VGC this year because, well, I'm definitely going to be trying to do VGC this year, but because it's a brand new set of Pokemon, there's going to be a lot of different things that people can try. People are generally excited for that, but also because it's not, from what it looks like, it's not just going to be the same copy and paste teams in every team. There's actually going to be some variety in this. Reason being is that one of the main rules is that Alolan decks only. And that's going to definitely open things up. Now, I see UBs being everywhere, but I think the meta is going to vary it out a lot more than...
I think the only one that's going to really stick is going to be Celesteela.
Yeah, that... Oh, God.
I hate that thing so much.
When we get into our VGC tips and tricks, you're going to hear a lot about that. You're going to hear a lot about that. So, now, Mr. Cubone, if you be so kind to start us off.
Alright, so you both been playing VGC, haven't you? Loosely?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for a little bit.
Yeah, I think on what you're saying, this year's going to be pretty big because lots of new people are joining in. Mainly, what I think it's because of is there's an increased prize pot this year for nationals, regionals, and worlds. So you can win more, stakes are higher. But also, they now have permission. TOs now have permission to charge entry for regional tournaments. So that will increase the prize pot as well. But it will also, if you don't think you're going to do well, it might discourage some players.
So you actually will face, good players.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Anyway, so on to what you were saying about variety. Right now, after London International and San Jose Regionals, I'm actually a bit disappointed. There's not as much variety as I expected. There's a lot of Formons in particular. So there's Celesteela. Then there's Koko, Garchomp, Cause, and there's also quite a bit of Porygon 2.
Oh, God. So,
so
for those who don't know what that means or what that does, Porygon, I guess the Porygon line, really, has a very special Z move called Z Conversion. Joey, do you mind going into detail onto what that is?
I've got no clue what that is.
Oh, well.
All right, I'll tell you.
Okay.
It's basically just a support move. You raise every single one of your stats by 1, and you change your typing to the move in the first slot.
So you can become any type.
Yes.
Any type,
any
and you
type
get
you want.
a boost in all your stats. So if you can set up the right situation, that's sweet. Wait, what?
On top of the download boost that you get. So if you come in and you get a special attack boost, you're going to be at +2 special attack.
+1 defense, +1 specialty defense, +1 speed.
Yes.
That's really close to setup sweep. And plus, if you plan out your, I've been seeing a lot of ghost conversions too. But if you,
I've seen more electric.
Wow, really?
Yeah, so they don't get paralyzed.
Genius. And there's a lot you can do with that. Each one of the types has, almost every type has some sort of specialty, or something like that. So if you know what the general meta is shifting towards, you can play towards that with Porygon Z and just change your typing to accordingly. So you have Ghost that are immune to fighting in normal. You have Electric, which are immune to paralyzation. Fire immune to, well, I guess burns don't really matter for them, but Absorb a status move. You have paired up with Tapu Lele, become a Psychic type and start railing with Lele and
Yep.
just psychic everything.
Although I don't really think it's a very good move on Porygon 2. It's more effective on Porygon Z conversion.
True, very true. All of the ones I've seen have been on Porygon Z.
Yeah, Porygon 2 is not very great. But I don't know if we'll see it soon. Maybe.
We'll
Porygon 2's
see.
Porygon 2 is everywhere from what I've seen.
Yeah.
Well, it's what Trick Room, Ice Beam, Tri Attack, normally Shadow Ball, EV Light. Nothing's touching that. Sometimes
Yeah.
Recover instead of one of
And
those
I've
moves.
seen Recover on every single one I've played. It's always had
Yeah.
Recover. It's awful.
Well, with +1 in defense and specialty defense, put some
Yeah.
decent HP investment on that. Recover and just blast through.
Yeah, and there's not
Yeah,
much
and
knockoff, so you can't get rid of its EV Light either.
Jesus.
And also, barely anything one-shots it. I think there's like, in terms of the meta things, the best thing there is right now, I think, is the Gracium Z from Tapu Bulu on Woodhammer, but that still doesn't guarantee an Oko. It's only like a 12% chance.
That is actually
that's like-
disgusting.
That's like the best thing
Actually
Jeez.
disgusting.
Wow.
That is awful.
Wow, okay. That's gonna be a thing.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. Alright, well now I know to watch out for that when I go do more VGC
Oh,
online.
I'm very scared.
And like, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but also some dark types got boosted. The
Yes.
dark typing got boosted, and I don't know the exact details on this, but from my understanding, they can't be prankstered.
Yeah, so it's just Prankster. You can't, no matter what the move is, Prankster doesn't affect dark types anymore. So Prankster Taunt, Prankster T-Wave, Prankster Willow doesn't work on dark types.
But correct me if I'm wrong, there's only 2 Prankster Pokemon in the Alolan Index, isn't there? There's
Yeah,
just
I think-
Whimsicott and Murkrow.
No. I think
Sableye.
Sableye's in the Dex too, no?
Is it?
Sableye. Mm-hmm.
I actually haven't seen any
And-
Sableye.
And Murkrow too.
Whoa.
And Murkrow.
I think.
I don't
Yeah. Shit, you're right.
think Murkrow's going to be in the meta at all.
You don't think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. No, I don't. Murkrow's not going to be in the meta. Like, it's a Murkrow.
It's more for like trolls and
Yeah.
lols.
It's more for online gangsters.
Oh, that's definitely a thing. So, what else? What else do you have for helpful tips and tricks for people who are just starting VGC this year, Joy?
Okay, so focusing on those Formons I mentioned,
Mhm.
When you're building a team, you want to make sure you've got something to answer all of those, and you're probably also going to want something to counter some sort of weather. So there's been a little bit of a rise in rain teams, and also in a little bit of sand as well, with the Gigalith and Sandvale Garchomp, which is super annoying.
Oh gosh, right. Sand veil, snow veil, all those veils are still allowed.
Yep.
Yep.
Anyway, so you want a counter to Celesteela, Koko Garchomp leads. You want a counter for Porygon 2. You also want something to deal with weather, and Muck's rising in popularity a lot at the moment as well. So you probably want to have something for that. So those are the main things you should focus on when you're building a team.
Now for Celesteela, all I've really seen people just running like Fire Blast or something, or Alolan Marowak. I've been seeing as big counters for Celesteela.
Yeah.
Alolan Marowak was, at the start of the meta, it was the go-to counter for Celesteela, Tapu Koko, and other mons like that. But right now it's been shifting more to Magnezone. Magnezone's seeing a lot more usage at the moment in its ability to trap Celesteela in and deal a hefty amount of damage.
HP Fire.
Just Thunderbolt, really.
Oh right, because it's flying type.
Yeah, Thunderbolt 2 KOs it.
That's right. Yeah, so
Life
Celesteela is
Life Orb
flying.
Thunder. Oh, sorry, you go.
No, I was just gonna say Celesteela is flying steel. It's the same typing as Skarmory.
Yep.
But it's
Life Orb, Modest, Max Special Attack, Magnezone, Oko's, any Celesteela with Thunder. So that's also something.
nice. Good to
So if
know.
you're running Rain, then that's
Oh,
something
nice.
you can use.
How popular is Sun right now? Because I've seen it a couple of times.
Sun, the weather.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it at all, actually.
Really?
I think it's the worst weather, definitely, this
Well,
June.
the biggest like setter for Sun used to be Ninetales and Mega Charizard, which neither one can be used.
Yeah, but like now I'm seeing Torkoal Oranguru with what's that move called?
Eruption and
Eruption and
Instruct.
After you Lilligant
Instruct.
as well.
Who?
After you Lilligant paired
Oh
with
yeah,
Torkoal as well.
Lilligant. Yeah,
It's
that's
actually really
great.
interesting because that was like the first 2 weeks. That was like the go-to team. It like demolished everything, and right now it's just dropping off again, and you're not seeing much at all. People are figuring it out. More people are bringing other weather. It's just getting hard counted.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty much just a gimmick right now because, outside of that, there's nothing you can really do.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
true.
Because I found I was running that team. I had Torkoal, Lilligant, Oranguru, and then 3 other Mons. And I found that in matchups where Torkoal wasn't good, you'd have to bring Oranguru or Lilligant, which were made purely to support Torkoal, into the match, and they kind of did nothing. So it's like a 3v4.
Oh, that sucks.
So that's one disadvantage of that sort of team.
Yeah. Okay.
All stuff to keep in mind, guys. All right, awesome. Do you have anything else for us before we move on to breeding and EVs?
Nothing really. I guess Taunt is pretty useful to have as well, especially in stopping Celesteela from just sub-leech seed.
God, that's annoying. That thing has so
Yeah.
much
Being trick
bulk.
rooms and stuff as
They
well.
don't even run Protect anymore. It's just subs to Leech Seed.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, but I totally agree. Taunt is going to be a lot of people's best friends this season.
Stops trick room as well
Yes.
from Porygon 2 and the like.
Very, totally. Now, if you are also looking to get into VGC and just competitive battling in general, you're going to have to start breeding and EV training. For Greens Crafting, can you mind giving us some advice on how to do that?
All right. So if you don't know, you're gonna need 2 parents, a mother and a father. You're gonna put them in a daycare, and they're going to mate. They're gonna give you eggs. Now, for egg moves, the father passes down the egg move, and the mother passes down the ability.
Hmm.
And if you're gonna want to use a destiny knot to pass the IVs. The destiny knot passes down 5 IVs, and the last one is a random IV. It gives you a random number.
And to be clear, if you want to think about, HP, attack, defense, specialty attack, special defense, speed, you have that for each one of the parents. What Destiny Knot does, it takes 5 out of the 12 possible stats to pass them down to the child.
Yes. The more in common they both have, the higher chance of getting those IVs passed down more
Exactly.
easily. Now, another way you can do that is it's going to take you a very long time. You can chain for dittos.
Yes.
The chains that come up have a higher chance of getting better IVs. So I was seeing on Twitter one of my friends, he chained for 2 hours and
Wow.
he got a 5 IV ditto.
How did he know it was 5 IB?
He just caught it and he checked it.
Oh, so at some point he was just like, I'm
Yeah, he
done.
was
I'm
just, I'm
catching
done.
it.
Yeah. And he caught it and it was a 5 IV ditto.
Wow, that's really impressive.
But 2 hours, that's a long time.
It's a really long time. And, how do you chain for, just so that people know, the way you chain for,
Okay.
higher IVs?
So chaining, you're gonna want to have a mon with false swipe. This is gonna make it the easiest way. False swipe, and then you're gonna want to have an adrenaline orbs. You're gonna want to use an adrenaline orb, and that's going to increase the chance that the mon calls for help, and that's how you start to chain. Now, I learned recently that the ability Unnerve also increases those chances.
Really?
and
Yeah,
intimidate and something else as well.
yeah. So all of that is going to increase that, and on top of the adrenaline orb, you're just going to be able to get a mon every time after every turn, basically. So that will speed up the process.
Awesome. That actually I didn't know about unnerve and intimidate. I guess that makes sense, but then like how in the world would you figure that one out? It's not like it's
Yeah,
said anywhere.
yeah. I actually found it on Cerebi, but it was like hidden.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, awesome. So that's how you would help try and get like IVs. Now, how would you get EVs?
Now EVs, you're gonna want to get the power items
Mhm,
for power bracer, power weights, power lens, power belts, and power anklet.
mhm,
And those are all sold at the Battle Royale, I believe.
mhm.
So what you're gonna want to do is first you're gonna want to infect all your Pokemon with Pokerus. It's going to make it the easiest way to get the most EVs in the least amount of battles.
So for people who don't know, Pokerus is this random status that you can find with
Yeah,
Pokemon in the wild. It's a really low chance, or you can just get it from a friend who already has it. But what it does, it doubles your correct me if I'm wrong, but it doubles the initial like EV value that you get from the Pokemon
yeah. So
that
it's
you
gonna double
battle.
that. So for example, a Yungoos will give you one attack. If you have Pokerus, it's gonna give you two.
Mhm.
And then now the power items, they got a really big buff this gen.
I've heard about
Last gen
that.
they were four for every mon
Knockout.
of the respective EV. Now they're eight.
Doubled. Wow. Okay.
Yes. So you're gonna be getting a lot more EVs. So to fully EV train one mon in one stat, it's going to be a seven chain in an SOS battle. So you
And
only
Because
wow, just
because
seven?
the more you
only
chain, the
seven.
higher the EV you would become per Pokemon.
Oh, I did not know that.
Ah.
It's a learning circuit.
Interesting. Okay. So yeah, so it's gonna be a lesser amount of battles. So EV training is actually very easy.
And then if you have experience share, and if you have enough, like, let's
Yeah,
just
if you
keep
have
going for Youngos, that for an example, if you have enough
yeah,
power bracelets, you can do a whole team in
you
like seven
uh,
battles.
yep, you can do five mons in seven battles,
That's crazy.
or even less since they
But what's interesting too is that
increase or so.
what's interesting too if not it's not only quicker because we say it's like oh it's so fun seven battles, but an SOS battle like the Pokemon come one right after the other. It's not like in horde battles where you have to like go to your item, press honey, or do like something like that to bring the Pokemon. Then you have to knock them all out, and then repeat the process like 12 times. Like it's just
Yep,
one battle,
one
knock
battle.
seven in a row, and you're done.
Yep. I don't think it'll take you more than 6 minutes.
That's crazy. Although it's gonna take a lot more time to prepare, but like once you're
Yeah.
prepared, like EV training could
Once
be
you're
really
prepared,
easy.
it's gonna take 6 minutes maximum.
That's awesome.
Maximum.
That
And
is
it makes it a
awesome.
lot harder to do like specific spreads. It's a lot easier if
Yeah,
you're doing
those
your
crazy spreads are gonna
252,
be
252s.
So
yeah.
how would we do? We'd have to use berries then, and the ones that reduce like specific EVs. We'd have to use berries then, and then like
There's like there's wings. You can use there's a couple wings, but I don't really know where you get those.
I know you can get berries, and you can just go to Pokepelago and just do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot which island it is on Pokepelago. You can just do EVs that way. I think it's the one with the beach. There's like a jungle gym on it, I think.
I thought that was level.
Is that level? I don't even know. The only
So
one I use is the Berry Island and the cave.
yeah, I used the berry island to try and get those specific like berries that reduce EVs by 10 for each consumption.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get that up and running now. I'm trying to get a little farm going, so I don't have
Yeah.
to worry about that in the future.
Indeed.
Do you got any other breeding or EV tips and tricks or guides for us?
Uh, No, not really. The only other thing I can think of is that when you chain, the mon that comes in has a higher chance of having its hidden ability.
You want to keep an eye out for that too.
Yeah, so if you have a mon with skill link, do that.
Synchronize too if you want to try and get a
Yeah,
good
synchronize for the ability, for the not the ability, the
nature.
nature. Yes.
So you could try and like figure that one out too.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. All right. So what do we have in store? What is in store for us in the future in terms of uploading? So I'm going to start as soon as I get some decent Pokemon to battle with. I'm going to start doing a battle tree series.
Ooh.
Now, reason being is that I think it's going to be really cool for me to, like, once I get Pokebank in, I'm going to try and use my EVs. I'm going to try and see if I can get my EVs all the way to level 50, or I guess win streak 50, and have them face red. I think that's going to be, like,
Oh man.
epic, and I'm going to try and do it as best I can.
I'm very excited to see the rage.
I heard that the AI in the battle tree is cheap.
Yes, they suck. I hate them. I think it's scum. I don't like it. It needs to be changed.
They, after a couple of battles, the AI starts recognizing your team and will start literally, not figuratively, literally counter teaming you. Like if
Yep.
they know you have a rain team or something like that, they're gonna bring a Turkle, or they're gonna bring like a Gigalith or something to set up a different type of there,
Or they'll bring a rain dance Jolteon.
or a rain dance Jolteon. Wait, what did you have? You had
I had Ninetales Tapu Koko lead,
in
and
doubles.
in doubles, and they led a Alolan Duck Trio and um Jolteon.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Jolteon. And the first turn, I had to switch out my Ninetales because I didn't want to get destroyed by Ironhead. So I switched into a Salamence, and it took 50% from Ironhead after Intimidate. And then
crap.
And then immediately after that, Jolteon sets up a rain dance, nullifying my
Hail.
my hail, and HP ground didn't even kill Jolteon for some reason.
Oh my god.
So
I'm gonna cry.
so I wished you the best on your endeavors.
I will try. We'll see.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things I'm gonna be trying. What else do we have coming up, Scrafty?
So I'm trying to get something going where the community, you guys can send us your battle videos. If you don't have a way of uploading to a YouTube channel, you can send us the battle video, and myself or Terren will
Record it.
and narrate it over it, and we'll post it to our channel for you. You will get full credit. We won't take any credit for it. Your Twitter link will be in the description. Everything. If you want to send us a narrated battle, go for it. We'll upload that as well. If you have too many uploads on your channel currently, and you just have a really cool battle you want to show us, go for it.
We'll take all types.
Yeah, all battles. Doubles too. If you're gonna do doubles, that's fine too. It doesn't matter.
Do try to not make it like you 6-0'd someone in like turn 4.
Yeah, so there's a list of rules that's pinned onto our page. So if you actually want to send us a battle video, you can go check out the rules. It's pinned on our page. It's the very first tweet. You'll see the rules, and if you like it, you can send it to us. If not, then I'm sorry.
Yeah. Joey and I are also going to be doing a VGC series once the VGC kind of like stabilizes a little bit, where we're going to be trying out a whole bunch of different sets on Showdown as well.
Interesting. I like that.
I have a couple of ideas of different teams that I want to try, but I got to actually like solidify a couple things, but that's also in the woodworks. Is there anything else?
Besides like maybe a Litheo global chat maybe once a week, maybe less. I'm not entirely sure how often we can get one of these out. But keep your eyes open for one of these.
Yeah, you get some pretty good news from us.
Yeah.
But besides that, that's all we have for today's global chat. Until next time, say bye, guys.
Bye.
Yeah.
See ya.